Long before we became masters of the air, there were those who braved the wastes below. The great windswept plains of the lowlands have always been a bulwark into the unknown, and those who walk there straddle the threshold between our world and the abyssal void beyond. Continuing our insatiable exploration into new frontiers, the time of the wayfinder may once again be upon us. As the outsiders say, all return to the depths.
You ever been below the deep? It's not an experience you'd forget. 100 fathoms down, the world is cast in a permanent twilight. With the clouds so thick below, time begins to lose any meaning. Dead reckoning into the wild unknown is often the only path forward. My partner and I were approached with a job. The ship had been assumed lost with all hands. We were to hike along its last known bearing to report the location of the wreck site. After 2 weeks of trekking through the lowlands, we were first alerted to her presence by an ethereal coming from over the next fell. At first, we'd thought it might just be the sky's lament, but as we crested the peak, it became apparent we'd found our target. From the devastation, it was clear she'd struck the side of the canyon. Her starboard lifting sail had been torn open in the process, although what had brought her down, we could not say. Ether had bled from her hull, filling the canyon with a thick, glowing haze, obscuring any identifying markings. If we were to be paid, we'd have to descend into that canyon and confirm her identity. As usual, we donned our mast and synchronized our watches. Once we reached the clouds below, we'd have no more than half an hour to get in and out. He descended first, using rope and pittons to make his way down. I heard his silhouette call out from the depths below, and I started making my way down the canyon wall. Once we reached the bottom, we cautiously spread out amongst the ruins. Shadows cast by the dull blue glow saturated the lower wreck. It was slow going. Patches of darkness in the mist seemed to approach too quickly, materializing into jagged wreckage before slipping away again. Personal items scattered the ground around us, grim reminders of the souls lost to the sky. As I reached the hull, the damage to the lower superstructure was catastrophic, a mangled mess of hull and rock. But above, the upper superstructure was unharmed, and emblazoned across it were the markings we required. But I didn't have time to celebrate. 20 minutes had already passed. My attention was broken by a shape shifting through the haze behind me. I'd assumed it was my partner and called out the good news. The shape stopped dead in its tracks before turning towards me. And then, through the gloom, I saw it. Its silhouette was grotesque, like a mockery of the human form. A stumbling figure with an unsettling gait so disjointed that it could be no man or beast. I said a quiet prayer to the gods of this land, likely the very thing that was approaching me, and ran. I never stopped running. Never found my partner. My friend. Not a day goes by that I don't think about him. That's why I'm making this journey. I wish I could say it was for him. I was some paragon of virtue, but in truth, It was to calm the same cowardice that doomed him. He's certainly lost, but for my own closure, I must know his fate. I can only hope that he asphyxiated in that poison below, rather than fall prey to whatever lurked in that hellish deep. Some fates are worse than death.